Okay, so now I'm going to go through a pre-flight inspection. So this is for a Rio 15, although there's similar principles if you're pre-flight inspecting any hang glider or microlight, sub-70 microlight wing. So these are the order and the checks that I will always do when I check a wing, and there's a few little tricks. So one thing is that I'll only put the nose cone on when I've done the pre-flight inspection. So I'll put it on when I'm starting the pre-flight inspection, and then don't let anybody interrupt you until you've completed the whole pre-flight inspection. The other thing is that whenever I close a zip, I've closed it because I've checked what's inside it, so I know that I've done that. So starting at the nose cone, before I put the nose cone on, I'm going to check the nose wires. So I've got this glider is an avian, so it's got a swan catch on it. I'm making sure that that pip pin is in, that the safety cap is on the pip pin, and that everything there is secure. Now I can reach up and I can feel the bolts, and I can feel that there's thread showing through those nose bolts. I don't need to look at them because depending on how windy it is, you don't necessarily want to be tilting the glider down so that you can see it, because then the wind can get underneath it. So I'm happy that everything around the nose is now checked. The nose batten's on as well. Again, I can feel that, I don't need to look at it. So I'm going to put the nose cone on at this stage, and now I'm going to complete the whole inspection in one go. So if you come closer. So I'm having a good look inside the wing, and what I can see while I'm in here is I can see that the leading edge is not straight, but it's got a nice even bow. There's no discontinuities on it, there's no dents. I can also see the cross tubes, and the cross tubes are straight and there's no dents. I can look down and I can see the junction between the leading edge and the cross tube, and that bolt's all secure. I can see the lower side wire attachment point, and I can see the upper side wire attachment points, and those are all good. I'm going to turn around now, and the same on the other wing. Also the keel is straight and there's no dents. And then obviously of great importance is the hang point. Now because this is a trike, it's got the hang block which is secure and moves freely. If it was a hang glider, then I'd be checking my hang strap was all secure. This glider has VG, so it's a good point now is to check that the VG is all running smoothly. So I'll pull that right on, make sure that goes all the way back and is all good, and then release that. And at this point I'd normally set that for takeoff as well. So on this glider today, that's going to be set off for takeoff. Now I'm happy that everything inside this centre zip has been checked now, so I'll close that zip, move backwards along the keel, and I can check the top of uprights. I can see this bolt is in and that bolt's straight. I always do the control frame as the last thing, so I'll come back to that right at the end. So what I do now is I go along the wing. To be honest, when you've got mylars, you can't really feel anything through them, but it might tell you something. If you feel any kind of scratch or tear in the surface, or you see that, then obviously it's a sign that the glider's had some damage, so it's worth checking the frame underneath that and making sure there's no dents in the tube. Now we get to this point, I have this zip which is open, which is a sign that I haven't checked it, so I'm looking inside. Now what I'm looking at, again, I can see the sidewire attachments, the cross tube junction is good. So because this is a carrier wing version, the leading edge, the outer leading edges are inserted in as part of the rigging procedure, but you can see we have marks on them to show you how far to insert them. Okay, so now I've checked inside this zip, I'm going to close it. And now another zip nearer the tip. So looking in here, I can see the washout batten is correct, and I can see that the outer leading edge is fully inserted. Okay, so I've checked along the leading edge, I've closed those lower surface zips, checked what's inside them. I now get to the tip, and as I look inside the tip, I'm looking to check that the compression strut is correctly located on the hook on the leading edge. I can also see the washout batten again and make sure that's all straight, all correct. So nice big Velcro there to open, so we just close that Velcro down, make sure that's all seated nicely. And now I'm going to go along the trailing edge and I'm going to check every batten's closed. So check batten, washout batten, 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 get to the luff line, so batten, luff line secure, batten, luff line secure, batten, get to this. So this is an important point. Obviously the tension strop is pretty much the most important point on the glider, is that this is secure. So check both sides. Obviously we only do this side when we're rigging, but also make sure that bolt is secure. You can check your wire here and you can check your lower wires. It's also a good idea at this point just to have a look over the wing, check it's symmetrical, check the king post, and you can see all the luff lines are good and nothing's got wrapped around anything. So now we carry on along the wing, batten, batten luff line, batten luff line, batten, 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 check in the end. And now I'm going to go down this wing and I'm going to check inside, close those undersurface zips the same as I did on the first side. And now when I get to this point, I carry on, check along the rest of the leading edge. Now check your side wires, you just run your hand down them. You'll very quickly feel if there's any broken strands in that, it will stab you. And also visually look at them and make sure there aren't any kinks. Make sure your fittings and tangs at the bottom are secure, your front and rear wires also secure, and then that we have these rings. However, the base bar is locked in position, so on this it's whiz pins with rings. Make sure that that's secure, and there's all the bolts on this side are secure. And now we've completed the walk round, the nose cone's on the glider. I know this glider's now checked and ready to fly.
Little glider.
Yeah.
Brilliant.